The introduction of Rule 25 to the worldwide rules of golf is incredibly important, especially to anybody who's playing with a disability, some of which are defined within the rules itself. For over 50 years, the USGA, Golf Canada, the Royal Nation have been talking about incorporating different types of play, people with different abilities into the game, drawing circles that brings people in rather than that cut people out. And with Rule 25 now, the situation has been addressed in such a way that people with disabilities can now play in any golf event at any time using that rule that allows them to compete on a relatively equal status with people of differing abilities and people who are fully able. In terms of the physical setup of the golf course, Rule 25 begins by identifying four major categories of players with disabilities: people that are blind, people that are amputees, people who have assisted mobility devices, and also people who have intellectual disabilities. Then it talks about the ability of people to have caddies throughout the process. For people who are blind, who have mobility issues, who have intellectual disabilities as well, they can also have an aid that assists them. Having said that, there's things that they can do under the rules that help their participation and help their performance of the game on a more equal footing. For instance, they can mark the ball, they can place the ball on behalf of that disabled competitor. When it comes to terrain, the rules have allowed a much greater latitude to committees than they had in the past. And the committees then, looking at the specific venue for any event, are able to designate various functions, whether it's a bunker that's inaccessible for people with different types of disabilities. That bunker can provide to allow relief at a one-stroke penalty, taking it out where it's a two-stroke penalty for others, or they can mark it as ground under repair for that event, which means that anyone in that can get free relief without a penalty. And you'll do that assessment throughout the entire course. So areas that would be very dangerous, that would be very difficult or impossible for someone with a disability to play, can be addressed within the local rules to level that playing field. In terms of bringing this from the abstract back to reality, now groups are hosting events that are specifically for people of all abilities. So people with varying disabilities can play together. Golf Canada is doing that, Golf Ontario, ParaGolf Ontario, all of these groups are hosting events. And that now under the rules allows people in open competitions, club competitions, to play whether they're able-bodied or disabled. And one of the ways it makes a big difference, first of all, is the ability to play with the full field and to have that field balance. The heavy responsibility on the committee for how that happens, but being able to look at things like anchoring. Someone who's an amputee can anchor the club putting and stabilize the putting, where an able-bodied person can't do that. A blind person can have an aid align them to the area where they're hitting. They can have people that stand behind for the purpose of observing the flight of the ball and being able to do those things. The 5 areas of the course can be modified in such a way that it provides easier access and fairer competition for people with disabilities. So a committee would look at the teeing areas of each hole. They would look at the way in which the general area is created. They would look at issues like introducing the model local rule E5, which allows for a ball that's believed to be lost or out of bounds to be taken at the points where it's estimated to have come to rest, taking it out to the fairway in a large catchment area. And also there can be pace of play modifications, which is very important. The committee can look at this, how to set up the golf course to maintain a reasonable pace of play, consideration for the other competitors, but also in consideration for other people that may be using the golf course in the daytime. So there's a broad latitude of decisions that can be made now by the committee under the rules, under the model local rules, to be able to balance the playing field for people with disabilities, playing with other types of disabilities, and also playing with able-bodied golfers.